Hello?
This is 911. What's going on? Hello?
Yeah.
This is 911. What's going on?
I recently got disconnected. I had told you guys everything that happened about the argument with my mom and dad.
Okay. What's your address? Hello?
Yeah, it's 1033 West Street.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
They were arguing and I shot him in the head and he's not breathing anymore.
Okay, so what's going on right now? Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any weapons on you?
Yeah, I do.
What kind of weapons do you have?
A handgun.
What kind of handgun is it?
I don't know, it's my dad's.
What color is it?
It's black.
Where exactly are you at in the house?
By the closet.
Okay, what closet?
My mom's.
Where's that at in the house?
In her room, which is where she's at, and my little brother.
Do you have a little brother?
Yeah, I'm thinking about, because I already poured gasoline all over the house. I might just set it on fire.
Okay, well, we don't need to do that, okay?
In a little bit, I might.
Why would you do that?
Do you have my address correct?
Can you verify it for me again?
Counter-Strike is one of the most competitive first-person shooter games ever. To most people, CSGO might seem incredibly simple, especially in comparison to today's modern FPS title. But that is precisely what makes CSGO so special. When you don't have a million different specialists or characters who all do vastly different things, when you don't have constantly changing maps or guns that are simply always random and can never be mastered, you are left with a game like Counter-Strike, where accuracy and map awareness are crucial. Competitive CSGO has been around for decades, since nearly the early 2000s, but it didn't start getting mainstream attention until the 2010s, when the popularity of CSGO skyrocketed. With the demand for the game increasing, it was only natural that the money followed, going from tournaments with $3,000 grand prizes to tournaments with $1 million grand prizes in less than 10 years. But with the popularity of anything online comes people seeking to capitalize off of it. Everything is monetized nowadays, and with the player base of the game increasing, a whole new aspect of the game was introduced. In August of 2013, CSGO revealed something called the Arms Deal Update. This update, which most at the time found to be lackluster, would set to change the course of CSGO forever. This update would add weapon skins to the game. Now, I'm sure everyone knows what CSGO skins are. They are unique digital cosmetics that players can purchase to change the looks of their weapons or character. Digital items like these are incredibly popular to developers as a way to monetize their games. However, a very key difference with CSGO compared to these other titles is that these cosmetics could be both bought and sold via the Steam marketplace, giving each item an inherent real-world value based off of the demand. So how could that demand be set? With rarity. Now, by design, some weapon skins are more rare than others, making them not only harder to unbox or to find, but also much more expensive. People wanted and still do want rare items, whether it was to build an inventory themed around their favorite color, or to just show off to their friends, or maybe they just like the stupid animations of some of the rarer knives. This desire meant that they were willing to give these digital items the monetary respect that they needed to assign them a real-world value. And from here, the core foundations of CSGO skin trading and gambling websites were set. As long as CSGO skins had ranging values and ranging rarities, and people were always willing to buy them, you now had a brand new currency. And with things like that come a lot of shady shit. All early adopters of CSGO gambling, let's say, for example, CSGO Lounge, had a very, very simple business model. Connected your Steam account to the site, and if you didn't have any skins, which in this case would act almost as a type of chip in a casino, you could simply buy some skins and then gamble them on the outcomes of professional CSGO matches. Slight problem though, they were not fans of following the law. I'm sure most people were blinded by the potential to make millions and millions of dollars, which would result in them breaking a couple laws here and there. That's where something known as KYC comes into play. Now, KYC is an acronym for Know Your Customer. It's something that is found in all major and legal casinos. It's a policy that even liquor stores have to implement. But when you're online, it can be very difficult to know your customer, which resulted in countless amounts of underage users, some of which were literal children. And when you're dealing with millions and millions of dollars that you're making illegally from underage children, this can be a slight problem. Now, it was very common for these gambling sites to just be licensed offshore. That way they could avoid the first level of legal actions. And when no one was batting an eye, this worked. But the negative attention that they so desperately did not want or need came when greed and the desire for monetary gain made people who were even presumed to have integrity switch up and be blinded by money. Speaking of not having any integrity and being blinded by money, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to cut to a sponsor, but I am going to promote my channel membership. Listen, I know it's very early in the video. I'm terrible. I understand that. These just take a really long time to make, and I really want to do YouTube as a job. I got a guilt trip, you guys, or something. I have no arms. I have no legs. Biden, gas price. I mean, come on. Listen, there's a whole video listing all sorts of shit. If you click the join button, I'll stop for now. Now, the first little smidgen of fraud happened in 2014 when a pro CSGO team threw an entire professional level match because it was rigged for them to lose at the start. Obviously, they had financial motivation to let the other team win, and at this point, betting on pro matches with CSGO skins was incredibly common. And although the pro players who threw got their financial reward, the thousands of other people who expected them to wipe the floor with the other team weren't so happy. In 2015, games of chance were introduced, meaning that these sites went from what is practically a sports book to a full-on casino. You went from betting on pro CSGO matches to coin flips and roulette. This only furthered the popularity of CSGO gambling. You could now take even bigger risks, which in turn would result in even bigger prize pools. And I mean, as everyone knows, 99% of gamblers quit before they hit it big. Why would you ever stop gambling? Oh, you just lost all your money? Dude, just take some more out and go win it all back, and then some. The issue with all of this was that not even the smallest portion of these websites were regulated, and it was very, very easy for site owners to just rig the games, which is exactly what happened. Fast forward a year and over $5 billion had already been gambled, with CSGO skins being the currency. The CSGO gambling scene was so popular at this point that people were buying the game just to gamble. And fun fact, I was one of them. I was in middle school, I had just gotten my birthday money, and I used to watch T. Martin, and although I knew the risks of gambling, I wanted to have a fun night, so I took half of the $100 Visa card that I had just gotten, I bought CSGO, and I bought some shit skins, and I gambled. Anyone want to make guesses on what happened? Yep, drum roll, please. I lost. It was my own fault, though. I should have just taken out more money. I would have actually been a millionaire by now had I just kept gambling. Valve officially had a problem on their hands, but that problem was making them a fuck ton of money. But unfortunately for Valve, they just got sued. And, like, a lot, actually. If you're ever bored one day, just Google lawsuits against Valve. You'll be entertained for hours. The question is, was Valve enabling underage gambling by making all that shit so easy to do? I mean, they were making 15% of every item bought and sold on the Steam marketplace, and if someone hands you $1 billion to look away, I'm probably fucking looking away too. Unfortunately, the government was not looking away. See, of course, Valve knew where this money was coming from. They aren't fucking stupid, but they took the strategy of why mention anything about it until we have to, and I can't blame them on that. So, the big question at the time was who was going to make them talk. Spoiler alert, it was the FTC. In July 2016, Valve issued a cease and desist to 23 CSGO gambling sites. In a very well-written letter, might I say. I love the stamp at the top. I don't know if the billions of dollars from underage gamblers paid for that, but it was a very nice touch. This cease and desist letter sent shockwaves throughout CSGO, some of which are still being felt today. For example, later in this very documentary, we talk about McSkillet, a person who owned a CSGO gambling website that was shut down by Valve. Would he go on to take the lives of 2 innocent people had one of his biggest projects and sources of income not been shut down? Gambling sites were not a good look for their company, and Valve might not have had morals, but their shareholders did. Once that cease and desist letter was sent out, those gambling sites had 10 days to shut down, or else they would face very serious legal action from Valve. So why was all of this happening? You see, at the time of all of this happening, you could take one of 2 routes to make a fuck ton of money quickly. You could get a sponsorship from a CSGO gambling site, have that site rigged in your favor, not disclose that you're getting paid by them, and then do a little bit of acting, or you could just make your own gambling site. As all of the legal troubles grew, these influencers knew that they didn't have much time. By 2015, almost fucking everybody was trying to make a gambling site, and these new child casinos were popping up everywhere. This is where our favorite influencers come into play. As long as you were willing to abuse the relationship that you had with your fans, you could make a fuck ton of money by illegally promoting these gambling sites. 2 YouTubers by the name of T. Martin and Pro Syndicate were the pioneers of scamming your audience. They made a gambling site, never told anyone that they owned the gambling site, and then proceeded to rig that said gambling site so that way they would always win when they were filming, just to upload videos of them supposedly making hundreds of thousands of dollars from that site.
Rock, you should watch Lotto. It's about to go down in the DMs.
Good God.
Is nobody else gonna snipe this pot? Oh my gosh. Oh my god!
Oh my god, bro. Please, Trevor, win this shit. Oh, you won it. You fucking
Oh my god!
And then, of course, when you, the consumer, went there, you would lose all your money. But at least your hard-earned money would be spent getting T. Martin a new mansion. The dynamic duo themselves did what most would consider to be a pretty big oopsie by creating CSGO Lotto and then promoting it to their combined audience of over 14 million subscribers. They were willing to trade their reputation for money. And this, in and of itself, is bad, depending on who you ask. But it is unfortunately quite common in today's age. The real problem came with the numerous international and federal laws that they had just broken. A very similar thing happened with a Twitch streamer who went by Phantom Lord. He owned a site called CSGO Shuffle, streamed himself winning a fuck ton of money, took all the money that his fans inevitably lost on his site, ruined his reputation, and then dipped. All of these people decided to sit there and line their pockets with millions and millions of dollars by scamming the very people who made them popular in the first place. The icing on the cake was that during those times, underage children were fully able to play. And who watched these loud and flashy content creators? Children. Lawsuits were filed against almost everybody, but We'll start with T Martin, Pro Syndicate, and CSGO Lotto. The evidence against them was very overwhelming, and most assumed that there wasn't a way to back yourself out of that corner. But then something strange happened. T Martin and Pro Syndicate got away with everything, with almost zero consequences. All this evidence against them, of them not disclosing that they own the site to their fans, rigging the game so that they could show their underage audience how easy it was to get rich, allowing the children to gamble, they got away with it all because of one disgusting piece of fine print. According to their terms, you could play CSGO Lotto for free as long as you asked, meaning that it wasn't technically gambling as long as you don't always have to pay. It goes without saying that no one knew there were ways to gamble on that site for free. The site looked the exact same as all the other shitty gambling sites, and obviously an option like that never even existed. But if it was built into the site, they could then pull a bunch of legal bullshit by saying that there were free options of playing available, even if no one knew they existed, which means that it's not gambling if users had a choice to play for free. As a result of all of this, all they had to do was disclose that they were the owners of CSGO Lotto. No jail time, no fines, no punishment at all. Now, Phantom Lord was rightfully banned from Twitch in 2016, but there is one casino, however, that circumvented it all. No legal trouble, no bans, nothing. That casino was CSGO Wild, owned first by FaZe Bank. Now, that casino was since shut down and ownership was transferred, but at the end of the day, the founders came out on top. FaZe Banks admitted that he started CSGO Wild as a way to fund a professional FaZe clan roster for CSGO. He claimed that it would make him upwards of $200,000 a day. You see, when members of FaZe clan aren't hitting insane trick shots or becoming drug addicts, FaZe clan runs an offshore gambling site for little kids operating out of Antigua. And while every other gambling website came crashing down that year, CSGO Wild would post this on their Twitter. It was a ridiculous twit-longer Bible that said all allegations against them weren't true. These allegations included that FaZe Clan were the actual owners, that CSGO Wild rigged the games on their site, and that they were operating offshore. See, apparently CSGO Wild was owned by a guy named Gage. Now, did Gage have any involvement? Yes, but he was only there to take the heat off of FaZe Clan because he was anonymous where FaZe Banks and the other members were not. Despite FaZe Clan leaking the fact that they own the website themselves, they would then have this Gage retard go on and on and on about how they worked out a sponsorship deal with Banks, Rain, and the other dumbasses, and he told everyone the games were in fact not rigged, which was also a fucking lie. Although, here is a really funny clip of FaZe. What the fuck is this guy's name again? It's fucking Alex. I'm just gonna... This is FaZe Pepperoni Face and FaZe Rain. Here's a funny clip of them gambling while their accounts get their balances refilled.
Bro, one off!
I would have got fucking... What the fuck?
Okay. Dude, I don't even know what the fuck just happened.
I lost, but
He lost, but he got money.
I lost, but I just won $7,000. I'm gonna do 1,000 on gold.
Okay.
Because I feel like it'll land on gold. Yeah. I feel like I'll just get it easy too.
Yeah. Bro, what's happening?
What?
What is happening?
I thought I had 8K.
You did!
And now I have a 19K.
Why the fuck is this happening?
I don't know.
Of course, this was not supposed to happen while you're filming, but it did lead to some very, very incredible acting.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Yes! Let's go! Let's fucking go!
The first problem with Gage's story is that no member of FaZe ever disclosed that they were apparently sponsored by CSGO Wild. The only time that they ever updated their description was only after very harsh criticism. Despite all of this, everyone would eventually just move on, and it wasn't until 2020 when FaZe Banks would make an appearance on the Bad News podcast that he would ever openly talk about this. All that people had to do once Banks had talked about this, terrible move by the way, dumbass, why the fuck would you ever admit to this? All they had to do from there was go back and forth from what was said in the past compared to what was said in that interview. This made it very easy to confirm that CSGO Wild was in fact owned by FaZe Banks. The craziest part of it all is that nothing happened to FaZe Clan, despite them breaking the same laws that every other gambling site at the time had broken. They paid for their CSGO roster with illegal underage gambling money, and it turned out to be the right call. The FaZe CSGO team won the major last year, which is the biggest tournament tournament that CSGO offered. Gage, the supposed owner of CSGO Wild, has since deleted all his social medias. Banks transferred ownership of the site, and all that's left are business endeavors funded by illegal gambling money, and a paper trail of evidence that all leads back to FaZe Clan. Can you believe I spent over $100 on that stupid fucking opening sequence? That's why I had to cut it off. I can't take any more of that shit. I got bills. It's been a few months now since I've done a bigger video like this, but I'm really excited to be back. I apologize that this took so long. I would love to be able to do YouTube full time and devote all my time to this, but right now it's just not possible. We are on the right path to that thanks to all of you amazing people who watch the videos and tune into the streams and become members. These bigger videos are only possible because of you guys, and I am eternally grateful. I'm making one final documentary on CSGO as a tribute to the game that I played for years, but am now done with. There's been a lot of good things that CSGO has caused, but let's be real, nobody cares about that shit. I'm sure a good portion of you all have seen the CSGO cheating community, which was my previous project. This is not a sequel to that, although there will be a highly requested segment with some closing words for the cheating community. Consider this video a synopsis of negativity created by Counter-Strike. For every good thing that has come from CSGO, 10 terrible things have followed. In this documentary, we are going to be covering multiple things, but we are going to stick to the highlights, or, I mean, lowlights, I suppose. If there is a particular topic or story that you're interested in, please follow the timestamps listed here. This is going to be a long video, and your time is important. So, get yourself a snack, you fat, ugly bitch, and get comfortable, you big, lazy piece of shit, because this is going to be a long one. I would like to start this video off by telling you guys a story. One of the most famous cases of swatting happened in December of 2017. December 28th, to be exact. Funnily enough, this incident has nothing to do with CSGO, but it would in fact influence future criminals by paving the way and showing just what exactly these hoax calls could do. Trust me, it all leads back to CS. Now, I'm sure at this point everyone knows what swatting and doxing is, but just so we're all on the same page, we will go by the definition found in most court cases involving the two of those things. This particular case in which we are referencing is public record and can be found in the description. Swatting is a harassment tactic that involves deceiving dispatchers into believing that a person or persons are in imminent danger of death or bodily harm and causing the dispatchers to send police and emergency services to an unwitting third party's residential address. Doxing is a harassment tactic that involves researching and publishing personally identifiable information about an individual, such as the person's date of birth, address, telephone number, or other unique identifiers on the internet. On December 28th, 2017, two people, Casey Viner and Shane Gaskill, had a dispute online over, get this, a Call of Duty match, but not just any Call of Duty match, a Call of Duty wager match, where the winner would take home a whopping $1.50 profit. During this argument, Casey would threaten to SWAT Shane's house, and Shane had the brilliant idea to provide a fake address to Casey. Both of these people seem insufferable. Casey then proceeded to call up his internet shooter, Tyler Barris. Tyler would then go on to make the fraudulent call to 911, saying that he was holding his family hostage. Now, what would follow that call to 911 is quite disturbing content. Now, because the police budget here in the US is only around $100 billion a year, the quality is quite rough, although you can still roughly see what's going on. With that being said, I will be censoring Andrew Finch, the owner of the property, which happened to match the address that Shane gave Casey when they were arguing over $1.50.
348 to 260, references call. Front door's opening.
Good, we got the front door open.
Walk this way! Walk! Hey! Front door! Hands! 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 He's right there, he's right there! Yeah, we guys are in crossfire.
Now, there will definitely be some people who blame the police in this situation, and that is a great thing to do. Keep doing that. Police are trash. They shouldn't have authority over calls like this. They are always so locked in on an objective that not once do they stop to think there could be anything else going on. Not even for a second are they trying to put two and two together. And I'll be honest, I love the comment here.
You guys are in crossfire.
Dude, you gotta watch for the crossfire, man. Yeah, you fucking retards. You're gonna want to watch for that crossfire, huh? We wouldn't want an innocent person getting shot or anything. You fucking idiot. Police are way too untrained and they act way too emotionally to handle calls like this. With that being said, clearly the police are not the primary people at fault. All four individuals, Casey, Shane, Tyler, and the officer who shot Andrew, play different roles. Now, I'd love to see what your opinions are and what your own percentages would be in the comments. I will be reading them all, but if I had to lay it out, I would personally say, and this might kind of seem like a hot take, but I'll explain myself. I think that it is split 4 ways equally. Casey for hiring Tyler to swat someone over $1.50. Tyler for actively swatting someone for money and running that bullshit routine with 911 dispatch. Shane for keeping the dispute going and not just being the bigger person, plus providing a fake residential address that could have been real, which in this case it was. And then the police officer for being a trigger-happy coward. I would say personally that between the 4 of them, it is 25% 4 ways. And my reasoning for that is quite simple. Ask yourself, would Andrew Finch have died had any of those things not happened? If Casey had never paid Tyler to swat Shane, Andrew Finch would be alive. If Tyler wasn't a chipmunk-looking bitch and didn't lie to 911 dispatch, Andrew Finch would be alive. If Shane provided any different address or just turned off his fucking Xbox, Andrew Finch would be alive. And then finally, if the police officer was actually qualified to do his job and wasn't an emotional, trigger-happy coward, Andrew Finch would still be alive. And right when you think the situation couldn't get any worse, because of the investigation that then had to follow Andrew's death, his body was transported and stored separately from where they'd normally keep you after you died. Andrew Finch's mother, Lisa Finch, wrote to the Wichita mayor and police chief stating that she did not know where her son's body was being kept, and that she wanted to give him a proper funeral service and burial. "Please let me see my son's lifeless body," she wrote in a letter dated January 3rd, 2018. In the same letter, Mrs. Finch asked why the police officer who killed her son had not been identified. And then Andrew's 18-year-old niece, Adelina, committed suicide by gunshot on January 11th, 2019. Adelina had witnessed her uncle's death, and Andrew's mother blames the swatting incident as the cause for her granddaughter's suicide. Isn't swatting just so fucking peachy? Now, most people, when they hear a story like that, their feelings are going to be overwhelmingly negative, and for good reason. But for others, where some find pain and sorrow, they gain inspiration. You see, although the case of Andrew Finch is quite popular, it's not always popular for the right reasons. And that is where the story of Joseph Dellinger comes into play. Joseph Dellinger was a 22-year-old college student who was majoring in computer science. His mom says that he wanted to work as a software and game developer. That way he could pay forward the joy that he received playing video games his entire life by helping create games for the next generation to enjoy. Joseph had been playing video games online since he was 11 years old, and one of his favorite games was Counter-Strike. He played religiously, sometimes upwards of 8 to 12 hours a day, but his mom said that as long as his grades were okay, that he could play all he wanted. In April of 2019, Joseph's life was fine. He felt he was finally able to complete his school assignments easily. He had just gotten married to his high school sweetheart, and he was, quote, making more friends than he could ever know what to do with. In May of 2019, Joseph was dead. You see, during all that time, Joseph had remained active online playing video games, mainly CSGO. He had amassed well over 7,000 hours of playtime. Almost all of his free time, in fact, was spent playing CSGO with his friends. He had friend groups online with people all over the country who played Counter-Strike with him, and Joseph was never shy with talking about himself. I've spoken to some of Joseph's friends personally, and they said he was passionate about what he was studying in college and that he didn't hesitate to tell people where he was going to school. Now, I'm sure as many of you all know, just as easily as you can make friends on CSGO, you can make enemies, and this reigns true with almost every online game. Not everyone liked Joseph. Some of the people I spoke to would describe him as sometimes being arrogant or boastful after winning a match. He was a fan of shit talking, pretty much, which is normal. You play a competitive game to win, and if you're passionate about something, emotions will follow. Unfortunately for Joseph, after playing a normal game of competitive Counter-Strike, he got into an argument with someone who would ultimately end his life. Screenshots from May 14th, 2019 show messages on Steam between Joseph's account and a user who went by the name S. Now, I will be censoring Joseph's Steam because his friends cannot access it, and his profile comments are still public, and I do not need his friends or family going there and seeing the full effects of the internet. The messages between Joseph and S on Steam are quite limited, but the crucial thing to note is that Joseph sent S an invite to a Discord server to continue the conversation elsewhere. And although it's a little unsettling to think about, this Discord link would ultimately end up being the reason Joseph was killed. You see, within that Discord server, if you scrolled quite a ways, you could see pictures that, if examined by the right people, could reveal quite a lot of personal information. Which makes sense. The server that he sent to S was, quote, not some type of big public group with thousands of people. It was more of something that all our close friends were in to talk to each other and play games. There would be no logical reason not to send pictures of, say, you and your girlfriend, or the address of where you were going to pick up your new dog, or local movie theaters near you and what movies they were showing that night. And although Joseph was a very smart guy, he clearly underestimated the length someone was willing to go to online to feel like they won an argument. People will do anything to feel like the bigger or more dominant person online if they really want you to suffer a consequence they deem that you deserve. It didn't take long for S and his friends to start harassing Joseph's college with screenshots of hateful messages that Joseph had sent them. It didn't take them long to find his apartment, since Joseph would often walk to places nearby and take pictures. And it didn't help that Joseph decided not to take these things seriously, and I completely understand why. I've been involved in quite a bit of online drama myself, and instead of them actually trying to talk to you or resolve anything, people will instantly go for the extreme. If they have any bit of information on you, they will take it and they will try to find everything they can with it. For some people, it's a way for them to feel powerful online, because online power, that's definitely a thing. For other people, it's to make them scared and to prove a point. What better way to quote-unquote win an argument by getting the person to shut up and go live in fear of what might happen to them? The thing is, for anyone who is a regular person and is not chronically online, it's very easy to laugh in their faces when they do that. If you've ever gone on sites that host material relating to people's personal information, you'll see things that will give you secondhand embarrassment. They unironically use terms like, greetings, hacker, yet somehow think anyone in the real world would ever treat them with any actual respect. What I'm saying is that it's not Joseph's fault for not taking these people seriously. They seemed like internet tough guys, but to the internet tough guys, Joseph was acting invincible, which only made them want to harass Joseph more. See, if someone malicious actually has your real information, you need to limit your contact with them. Don't be an idiot. Call your local police station and make them aware of what's going on. In today's world, police are finally becoming a bit more educated on swatting. So if a really outrageous call comes in after you've made them aware of the situation, they'll usually send an officer or two at first, but they'll call you and they will check for themselves. And this makes sense. If you call your local police station and tell them that a bunch of bad people online have your address, and then a few hours later they get a call from a VoIP number saying that you're going to blow up your entire fucking neighborhood if a cop steps foot at your door, they might think, well, that's a tad strange, and maybe they won't send a 100-person bloodthirsty SWAT team to your house. You see, SWAT calls only work if the scenario they're describing is insane, like a hostage situation or a bomb threat. If someone calls the police to your address and the call was them saying that your music was too loud, and then they show up and there's no fucking music, they're gonna be like, well, that was fucking retarded. And if it becomes a pattern, they'll know it's a prank. And that is why SWAT calls, by design, are meant to be extreme. You see, if someone calls 911 and claims that you're holding your family hostage, a SWAT team would show up. But once they got there and then realized what was going on, they would leave. And then if another call came in an hour later saying that you had a weapon and you were going to hurt a bunch of people, they would know not to show up. There are ways to protect yourself online from swatting even after your address has been published. I will link to some good resources below. On May 16th, 2019, a phone call to the police department was made saying that a man had poured gasoline all over his apartment and was holding his family hostage while keeping them in a closet. Are you seeing any similarities? While police were on the way, the dispatcher asked for the name of the caller, just to keep him distracted and buy some time for the officers. The caller said that his name was Andrew Finch. A mere 6 minutes later, police were outside of Joseph's apartment. According to his wife, whom he had just recently married, police did not make themselves known before busting down the door of his apartment, although court records relating to this incident do say otherwise. Irregardless, when Joseph heard a loud commotion near his apartment door, he immediately reached for a pistol his father had given him and made his way into the hallway. It was here that he was shot 7 times and killed. His autopsy report claims that his death was instantaneous, and the police report noted that they did in fact smell gasoline from inside the apartment, which is insane to me. This was obviously soon debunked, but I'm curious for the reasoning behind the police saying that they could in fact smell gasoline. Perhaps the most noteworthy thing, however, is that upon immediately searching his house for the supposed hostages, they walked into the office area where Joseph would play his games, and they saw Counter-Strike open on his monitor. The last message Joseph would ever send was, "Invite me when you're ready. I'm down to play for a few hours tonight." 10 months before Joseph died, on August 23rd, 2018, a CSGO YouTuber named Trevor Heitman would kill himself and others in a murder-suicide. This was the result of a fatal car crash on the crowded I-805 highway in San Diego, California. Trevor drove his 2015 McLaren 650S on the wrong side of the highway, going well over 100 miles per hour when he collided head-on with a 2010 Hyundai SUV. The crash resulted in Trevor's death. The occupants of the other vehicle, a 43-year-old mother and her 12-year-old daughter, also died in the crash. 8 others were injured. His initial autopsy showed that Trevor did not attempt to swerve before hitting the SUV, and toxicology tests did not detect any alcohol or common drugs in his system. Now, this is quite a popular case here on YouTube. Trevor's channel, McSkillet, received immense backlash from the CSGO community, and rightfully so. You'll often find the USPS skin Road Rash with name tags referencing Trevor. Trevor didn't leave a note explaining why he'd ever act on such a terrible idea, so all his family and viewers online had to go with were clues you could find scattered around. His parents claimed 5 days before the incident that Trevor said he was having a meltdown. Now, the biggest reason some say that he was suicidal was because of his massive CSGO trade ban. You see, in May 2018, Trevor was banned from CSGO trading. His account, which allegedly had a total of over 62,000 skins and cost over $200,000, was banned. Trevor had somewhat claimed that he stopped uploading due to this ban, and it's possible that this was a primary factor as to what caused him to reach his breaking point, but I don't think that was primarily it. In 2016, a gambling site which he had owned, CSGO Magic, was also banned after Valve updated its policies about skin gambling sites. But he was still incredibly wealthy even after these bans. When he decided to be a piece of shit and take out others in his own pathetic suicide, the card that he was using was valued at over $200,000. How much it's worth now, I don't know. In all videos that I've seen on McSkillet, I've only seen people talk about him. Granted, no one's been overly kind to him, which is good, just so everyone's on the same page. He is a piece of shit. There is no, "Oh, just let him rest now," when you decide to take the life of an innocent mother and daughter just because you were feeling depressed. Like I mentioned, everyone likes to talk about McSkillet, but not many people like talking about the people who actually need to be talked about. Maybe because it's less interesting or they can't quite get clout off of them, but before someone decides to defend McSkillet, and yes, there are a lot of people who do that, this report says something like, "Something changed him. It wasn't all his fault." Let's look at the GoFundMe started by a teenage boy to be able to cover his mother's and sister's funeral costs. Let's look at the lawsuit the family of the victims were forced to make when Trevor's family wouldn't provide them any compensation for the massacre their son had caused. The lawsuit states that the San Diego police failed to apprehend McSkillet after he was examined by a licensed psychiatrist days prior to the incident. The psychiatrist allegedly stipulated that McSkillet was a danger to himself and to others and must be immediately detained on a California Welfare and Institutions Code. But that didn't happen days before the crash. This is video that surfaced just hours before McSkillet would go on to kill 2 innocent people.
Well, the parents of the driver, Trevor Heitman, told police he had been acting erratically, so erratically that they asked a family friend, who also happens to be a psychiatrist, to call 911.
Hello, 911.
I'm calling to report an emergency. I believe there's an individual who is a danger to himself and a danger to others. I do believe that he is suffering from a mental illness and that he should be detained on a 5150.
3 San Diego police officers arrived at Trevor Heitman's home while the 18-year-old was asleep upstairs. Here's police body camera footage. The city blurred the officers' faces. His parents asked the officers to help get their son to a doctor.
He's got manic behavior.
The family friend who called 911 pleads with officers. Police leave. Hours later, Heitman rams his McLaren into his father's vehicle to get out of the driveway.
You know you're driving in a school zone, right?
Heitman then gets on the 805 going the wrong direction and slams head-on into 43-year-old Eileen Pizarro and her daughter Ariana, killing them.
By sheer coincidence, a family friend of the Heitmans was a licensed psychiatrist, and she recommended that Trevor's parents call the police and try to have him arrested. McSkillet had sent threatening texts to his parents and seemed a lot more manic than usual. This had them worried enough to independently call the police and try and have him detained for his own safety. Upon the police's arrival, McSkillet's father warned them that going up to see Trevor would be a bad idea because he would probably get angry, and from there on out, the police made no attempt to go and evaluate McSkillet's mental state. Even after the Heitman's family friend, Mary Rusher, a licensed psychiatrist, showed up and explained what was going on. Dr. Rusher said, "I do believe he's suffering from mental illness and should be detained on a 5150 for further observation." Now, a 5150 refers to a state law allowing a person who is in danger to themselves or others to be taken into custody and examined by a health professional. Later at the Heitman house, an officer asked Trevor's father, Kurt, what he wanted the officers to do. Kurt responded, "Take him in for a psychological evaluation." The officer told Kurt that Trevor would need to meet specific criteria. About a minute after that, Heitman's own mother described her son's behavior, calling it manic. An officer asked if he'd ever been diagnosed with anything. She replied, "He needs to go to a doctor." Once the police had left, it was only a matter of hours before McSkillet would get in his McLaren and drive it down the wrong side of the I-805 highway. Here are some lesser-known photos of the aftermath. These come directly from the San Diego Fire Department. Clearly, Trevor had bigger issues going on, but it's no secret that CSGO was a primary factor in this horrific event. So I had originally written an entirely different script for this segment, but upon working on this documentary for hours and hours, I realized that I don't want to give the cheating community any more attention. These bigger projects tend to attract a lot of new viewers to the channel, and sitting here and talking for 20 minutes about bullshit that only interests a small portion of viewers is worthless. So instead of the original 20-minute, very petty segment, I am going to keep this very, very quick, and then we are going to move on entirely. To summarize for everyone, that way even new people can get an idea of what has happened, I made a video called The CSGO Cheating Community. It was a documentary on why people cheat in CSGO and some of the bullshit that's gone on in that environment. And it wasn't my best work, but I still think that all in all, it's a pretty good video. And even though it did quite well, surprise, surprise, it pissed off a lot of people, which I found to be utterly hilarious. There was drama with a pedophile, some guy who looks like he drinks his own piss made a video about me, but as that video grew, I found myself becoming more surrounded by that community than I had originally intended. Let me tell you guys a story. I was playing CSGO one night when my team had gotten very, very close to winning. It was the final few rounds, and all of a sudden, the entire enemy team began to cheat. All besides one person. That one person went to my profile, joined my Discord server, and then joined the VC that we were in, and at first I assumed that he was just trying to watch our screen shares and hear our callouts, but he began team killing the cheaters, saying where they were on the map at all times, and he helped us win. We came to find out only later that he was also cheating. And I just remember thinking how crazy that was to me at the time. I had a resentment towards cheaters. I loved CSGO, but I didn't always want to play Face It or ESEA, and whenever I did join matchmaking, it would constantly be cheaters, always ruining the fun. But here was a cheater that actually helped us. We won that match, and that person is a good friend of mine named Zombie. I spoke to him after that match and was just genuinely asking questions from a normal player's perspective, and he told me all about this crazy shit that happened in that community that I had known nothing about. And I thought that wouldn't it be interesting to make an entire video on some of the weird shit that happened in that community. And that is how that video came to be. So when I receive criticism from people that I made fun of in that video that says, "No offense, but I feel like most of the info your video contained was pretty much what your average legit player thinks," all I can really say is, you need to go to a fucking head doctor, and you need to get the dent in your fucking skull taken care of. Why would the player who doesn't cheat have the opinions and perspectives of a player who doesn't cheat? People will undoubtedly bring up the video that I filmed with another creator where I tried out cheats. If you can't see the difference between making a video with a YouTuber in their niche and for their community compared to someone sitting down for 19 hours a day doing the exact same pathetic things over and over and over again, all for nothing, then I don't even know where to put you on the intelligence scale. You clearly are beyond fucking retarded. I was very grateful for the criticism that I did receive from that video. It was the very first large project that I had made for this channel, and I made some mistakes for sure. In the future, I will do better at noting when I am speaking on my own opinions compared to facts. I don't feel like saying the names of anyone, but all I will say is that I still 100% stand with everything that I said in that video. The pedophile is definitely a pedophile. The schizo is a schizo, and when I would try and interact with people criticizing me, say for example on a forum, they would only further prove my point of cheaters having fragile egos. And when it comes towards having biases towards anyone in that video, I did all my own research. The only time I had ever spoken to anyone I featured in that video was when I was interviewing them, and that was it. You can't please everybody, and I didn't hate or like anyone that I talked about in that video, besides the pedophile. You can't please everybody, and we all have very different perspectives, so that is just something we all must deal with. I had a whole lot of bullshit scripted about some Reddit community that obsesses over me, some of the criticism that I've received. Like, for example, I'm friends with some CSGO cheating creators now. I've been in their videos, and even though I think all cheaters are pussies, I'm friends with them in the same way that I'm friends with other content creators. One thing that is fucking crazy to me is how some of the biggest supporters of the channel are CSGO cheaters. I joined my Discord server the other day, and I saw two people talking. One was in a hack vs hack server, and the other one was in a Face It tournament. So it's very, very strange. I had quite the original segment for this portion of the video, but by me sitting here and talking about people and what they said, especially in a bigger video like this, I'm just giving them more publicity, and I don't think any more attention needs to be brought to the CSGO cheating community. If you're interested in watching the original segment, there will be an entire deleted scene uploaded to the channel as a members only video tonight. So farewell to you dumbasses. The last story that I'd like to tell you all tonight is a story that I chose very specifically for the end, and it is the story of Julien Barrou. Julien, at the moment of me recording this, is currently in a prison in France where he will be released next year, but what exactly got him there? Well, this is the story of two people, Julien Barrou and Michael. Both of these individuals would spend countless hours each day obsessing over Counter-Strike, and one day they got into a match randomly together. Julien at this time lived near Paris, France, and Michael was in a town named Cambrai. These two got into heavy disagreements over Counter-Strike and would proceed to sit and argue for hours and hours. But Julien would soon log off after Michael made him feel embarrassed by stabbing him in the back in-game. Now, this is a very common thing within CSGO, but Julien took this very, very personally. So personally, in fact, that Julien would then sit there and plot a real-world revenge against Michael for the things that he had said to him online. And after discovering that Michael only lived a few hours away in Cambrai, Julien would arm himself with a kitchen knife and drive himself to Michael's home. Once the door was open, Julian whipped out his knife and plunged it deep into Michael's chest. It was here that Julian would then immediately run back to his car and try and head back home. Michael lied there on the ground in complete agony for over 15 minutes until help had arrived. Some reports say that he crawled to his phone to call an ambulance, while others say that his neighbors heard him screaming in pain. All we know is that once Michael had finally made it to the hospital, things were not looking good. Meanwhile, Julian had already been apprehended by the police and was now being held in jail without bond for the attempted murder of Michael. French officials said that Julian admitted to his game-related motives behind the attack, saying that he, quote, wanted to see his rival wiped out once and for all. Back at the hospital, doctors and nurses fought to remove the knife from Michael's chest, but it was discovered that the blade was less than an inch from his heart. After undergoing surgery for over 3 hours, receiving a blood transfusion, and undergoing even more surgeries after that to remove small pieces of his bone from inside his chest that were scraped off, Michael had somehow managed to survive. Miraculously, he left the hospital days later and would then return to his normal life. Julian, however, is now behind bars, serving a very long sentence, and he was even forced into anger management therapy. The judge behind Julian's sentencing was mortified at his actions, quoted saying, "You are a disgusting member of society, and I am frankly terrified of the disproportionate reactions you seem to frequently have." And with Julian locked away and Michael at home continuing to play CSGO, I figured this would be a great story to end this documentary on. It's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Now, before we get into some more closing statements, I would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to each and every one of you who watched this all the way through. I hope that you could find some enjoyment within it. I hope that you were entertained even just for a little while. These videos take a lot to make, and if you guys weren't here to watch them, I would feel so fucking defeated. I would love to one day do YouTube as a job, and you guys are making that seem more possible each and every day. If you enjoyed this documentary, I would really appreciate it if you would share this video. Even if you're not the type of person to share videos, it really does help. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you'd know that they can be a little bit different, but I just want to make people laugh. If you've seen my other content and enjoyed it, it would mean the world to me if you'd consider becoming a channel member. I am busting my ass to make that membership as good of a deal as possible for that $3 a month. There's a video that I've made for when you click it, but summed up, you get your name in every video of mine. All channel members now are even going to be in the credits of this documentary. I'm actually just about to post a director's commentary of this entire project within a day or so. You get to see all the videos early. You get the Discord perms. It's a lot for $3 a month, and that supports me more than I could ever even begin to describe. We've talked a lot about fraud, we've talked a lot about losers, and we've talked a lot about death, but I would say the most impactful of all of these stories to me is still Joseph's. I just can't get over how young he was when he was killed, over Counter-Strike of all things. And I've spoken to a lot of his friends personally. I think there's no better way to end this documentary than to play a song from one of Joseph's favorite bands while we roll the credits. I didn't want to mention this in the section on Joseph because I felt a little wrong, and honestly, I probably shouldn't be speaking unscripted right now. But do you guys remember a little while ago when I mentioned how Andrew Finch's niece committed suicide because of the death of her uncle? Well, one of Joseph's friends actually committed suicide as well. His name was Brandon, and I'm not going to get all sappy with you guys, but when I say that my viewers are my family, I really mean that shit. Hardly anyone nowadays has friends or family anymore, including myself. So please just stay safe, guys. Only talk openly with people that you really trust, and if you get into arguments, try and be the bigger person. I love you guys, truly, and although I don't know if I'll make any more CSGO documentaries, I hope that all of you know that I will always be here for each and every one of you. Just message me. I love you, boys. Okay? And stay safe.
Stop fucking crying, bitch! Where? I don't wanna fucking hear it!